Boom! What's up, everybody? This is lugnuts.guapo coming at you from Kapow! Longhorn Harley-Davidson, and today we are riding a FatBoy! And it's definitely not a FatBoy on a FatBoy because I'm not that big. Be more like a stick figure on a FatBoy. This was one of the ones that Harley released renderings of before all the new Gswts came out, and to be quite honest, there's all kinds of mixed reviews out there. I'm sure that you saw them, and you might be one of the ones that hated it. So, I mean, here it is. We have two big, massive tires, solid rims, as FatBoy should, and the nacelle obviously changed. Has like the square look nacelle. Definitely going in the direction that seems that Harley is going more like a futuristic style. Obviously, the old FatBoy looks nothing like this, and most definitely handles nothing like this or feels anything like this. So, completely different. But I feel like they capture some of the essence of the old FatBoy on this new FatBoy, even though this is miles different from what the FatBoy used to be. But man, it's it's definitely different. We'll discuss a little bit further on the highway, which today's a little brisk. I'm not really excited about getting on the highway, but I've never actually ridden one of these on the highway, so it should be interesting. But anywho, if you haven't already, subscribe, turn that notification bell on if you like motorcycle content or Harley-Davidson content more specifically, and that way you can find out when new videos come out. We usually put one out a week. It's usually Tuesday or Wednesday. It just depends on how work goes for me, because this is one of the many things I have to do, and it doesn't always go according to plan. So anywho, if you don't already, also follow us on Instagram as Longhorn_HD and as Longhorn Harley-Davidson on Facebook. And without further ado, roll the tape.
Synthetic got a sauce, yeah.
Let's roll this a little bit. Alright. I was really hoping to do a video on something with a windshield, but I didn't have one with a windshield, unfortunately. So this is going to be interesting. And lowers. My bike has lowers and this one doesn't. So my feet are not I'm not gonna be too happy with these canvas shoes. Anywho. Oh, that 107 never ceases to put a smile on my face. Man, I right away have a complaint, and it's the seat. Now, before I get into that, usually on this corner, they kind of like roughed it up to like repave it, and they never did. And usually you can kind of feel like the bike kind of skipping around on the concrete or asphalt. And it's not a good feeling because you have to be on edge on it. And I literally, as I was riding on it just now, I didn't feel any of that. I felt complete control. So I guess it's a plus for these massive wheels and tires. Oh, the instant torque is just fabulous. Anywho, going back to the seat, man, it's just it's weird. Definitely doesn't sit well with me, or I don't sit well on it. It's just like you go from the seating, like for example on a FatBoy, right? A FatBoy is just man, it's comfortable. It holds you in. It definitely cradles your rear end a little better than what this seat is. This seat I just can't seem to find myself in a good spot on it. It's just the way that it's curved on it, and maybe that's just because of how my butt's shaped. I don't know. That might be a reason why. Maybe not. But right now, that's my complaint about it. Now, usually, the funny thing is when I go on test rides, I very much avoid this particular bike, and it has nothing to do with whether I like it or not, but more with how it handles compared to everything else. Obviously these big fat tires are not very conducive to handling, but I will say, despite the fact if this was on a old soft-toe frame or even like an old Dyna, something like this fat and big, it would not handle nearly as good as this does, considering that it has these massive massive tires on it. I will say, on a straight line, man, those big tires are awesome. 100%. Oh man, I did a review on this particular bike. I mean, not this one, but on the FatBoy over at Maverick Harley-Davidson, and obviously I didn't get on the highway at any point because I usually don't. My route, or just the area, it's just not very conducive for me to get on a highway on a bike that doesn't belong to me, that's brand new, and I definitely don't, you know, it's I-35, so I have a tendency of avoiding that if I can, if I'm on a bike that doesn't belong to me, on my bike all day long. But anywho, that's not what I'm trying to get to. But just on the highway, on like higher speeds, this bike feels really stable. And I mean, no duh, I mean, when you go around corners, this bike, all it wants to do is stand up. It's just how it is. And you look at the FXDR, the FXDR definitely handles way better than this, but you do know and feel like you have a 240 rear tire. Now, going around that corner was actually not bad, but I would definitely prefer to do it on the FXDR as opposed to this. But I will say, this feels completely stable going a straight line at faster speeds. So we'll get to that here in a second. Oh, if I can, there's a lot of traffic over there. That's not good. That's no bueno, my friends. I just realized I have close to no gas. Oh, 24 miles. Yeah, I'll be fine. Anywho, so handling wise, definitely not the best, but it's pretty obvious. I mean, super wide triple trees and forks, and I mean, the big fat tires don't do this bike any favors. It does look pretty cool, I think. And I've even at some point considered doing a pitbull front end on my personal bike. If you don't know what that is, it's just basically doing kind of what this is. It's a big fat tire in the front end, and it, I think I really like what it looks like. Oh man, this motor, I've said it a million times. Oh, this motor is just, oh, I just like it. But anywho, the bars on this, most definitely comfortable. I do like the riding position. I'm about 6 foot. I will say that my feet keep wanting to slide forward, like past the floorboard. Not all the way past the floorboard, but like maybe like, I don't know, 2/3 of my foot or 1/3 of my foot like wants to stick out from the front of it. And I think it has to do with this stupid seat. I've ridden this with a saddleman seat, like a square back seat, something that you see, you know, on a Dyna. And I mean, it changed this bike completely. It really did. If I were to have this bike, if someone handed me keys here, congratulations, here's your FatBoy, the first thing that would have to go is this seat. I can't, and maybe, again, this is maybe just me, but this seat is not, I just don't, if I went on a long trip, this would not be good. I'll tell you that much. But I will say, if I change the seat, put a windshield on this sucker, oh man, I could go for a long ways. It really is like the suspension, as all the other soft toes, they're really comfortable. They're very conducive for agility around the corners. Again, for what this is, with the big fat tires, big fat wheels, it actually is pretty decent around the corners, considering, I'm not saying that this outperforms anything, I'm just saying considering the situation, or I guess how this bike was built, it actually is pretty decent around corners. Again, if this was on a different frame, it probably wouldn't do so hot. Oh, what is this person doing? Turn the signal on. Make up your mind, man. Oh, well, you're not turning. Oh, look at that. See, that groove that I just passed back there, usually I have to tackle that at a harder angle just because of how deep and how wide it is. On this bike, I literally forgot about it, and I went over that groove, and I hardly even felt it. Let's see on this. Man, I can't stress enough how like stable this thing feels. It feels very well planted, and I keep wanting to push it around this corner. Oh man. Oh man, I never would have thought that I would want to push this bike. I wasn't really even pushing it too hard because I would hate to wash out on something new like this that doesn't belong to me, but oh, the camera's not even pointing at me. Want to do some mind? I guess I didn't tighten up. I'm sorry. There goes like half of my footage. I didn't even know when that happened. Anywho, what do you think? Have you test ridden the FatBoy? So drop your comments below. Let me know what you think, because I am curious. Am I the only one that thinks that this seat is just the worst designed seat ever? You're close to the worst. Maybe not the worst, but pretty close to the worst. I don't know. What do you think? Let me know. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel if you like Harley-Davidson content or just motorcycle content in general, or vice versa, whatever. Subscribe. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Let me know what you think, what you want to see. Is there a bike that I haven't reviewed that you're interested in? Is there a bike that you want me to review again, and maybe there's some questions that you have that you want answered? Let me know. I'll be more than happy to tackle those questions and make more content for you guys. So anywho, again, if you don't follow us already, follow us on Instagram at Longhorn_HD and on Facebook as Longhorn Harley-Davidson. Also, go ahead and if you like listening to podcasts, we have one. Heck yes, and that is on MLHD, one word, on the iTunes app. The one, if you have an iPhone, that's the podcast app. That the MLHD, one word, you'll find us. And on SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/ML-H-D. So that's 1D. I don't know why I did that. Anywho, that's all I got for you guys today. In the meantime, get on your Harley and get some wind therapy. Hasta la vista, homies. Mm-hmm.